Hey guys, I hope we're getting a little bit better at this now. It seems to be the new norm, coming to you from my office again. I had a guy call me yesterday and say, hey, I hadn't seen you in a while. And I said, I hate that you have not seen me in a while, but with the new COVID problems and all the paperwork that's associated with all this mess, it's just getting harder and harder and harder to leave my office. I feel like all I do is argue and push papers. So with the unusual year we're having as far as planting, a little bit of cold weather, big rains, I've had a lot of questions over the last 2 weeks. Preventive planting questions, replanting questions, plant date questions. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to go over those one by one. And always, now, if you have a question, you call me. We're going to put this out on the website. You should get a text from me, saying that it's there so you can watch it and refer back to it as you need to. So I'll start out with plant dates because that's kind of where we're at today. Look, handy dandy cheat sheet. If you need this, all you gotta do is text me. I have this on my phone. I'll text it to you. It shows, you find your county. It tells you every crop in that county. It tells you the final plant date. It also tells you the late planting period. So I'll just take one right here that's easy to work off of, and we'll use it as an example. Watauga County has a 4/30 final plant date on corn, a 25-day late planting period. So what that means is if you didn't get it planted by the final date, you have another 25 days to get it done. There's a 1% reduction for every day that it's late, a 1% reduction in coverage per acre. At the end of the late planting period, you automatically take a 40% reduction in coverage. Cotton plant date in that particular county, 5/31, 10-day late planting period. Peanuts, 5/31, 10-day late planting period. Soybeans, 6/25, 15-day late planting period. So corn has a 25-day late planting period in all the counties that we operate in. Cotton, a 10-day late planting period. Peanuts, 10-day late planting period. Soybeans, 15-day late planting period. So whatever date, basically, guys, you see me taking my glasses off, trying to make a point here. Whatever date you put on that 578 at the farm office is the date that we use. So be vigilant on your plant dates. Make sure you get them right. The date that's on that 578 is the date that we're going to use. So if you've got questions about your particular county, shoot me a text. I'll text this right over to you. All the Alabama counties, Florida counties, and Georgia counties are all on here. So no reason to be uninformed. When acreage reports come out from our office, across the top of that acreage report by crop, you'll see all the final plant dates listed there for your particular county. So there's no reason for us to get that wrong. So you call me, got a cheat sheet on plant dates. Replants. Man, we've had some big rains. Today is Wednesday, the 19th. High skies, everything's drying up good. No rain this week. Doesn't look like any first part of next week. Everybody's as busy as they can be, but that has not been the case for the last few weeks. Big rains, cool weather. It's been a horrible planting season so far. Tons of replants. So let's spend a minute there on replants. If you're in Alabama or Georgia and you've taken an extra cotton replant policy, you've got $40 an acre roughly. Most of the guys, that's what you took. $40 policy for a cotton replant. It's not covered under your regular insurance, but it is if we put that endorsement on. So if you have a cotton replant, call me before you replant. Okay, so that's in Alabama and Georgia. If you have any other crop, if you have peanuts, well, it's too late for corn at this point, but peanuts, soybeans, any of those crops, everything but cotton, there's a replant on built into your policy unless you have a CAT policy. The good rule of thumb is if you have to go back to the field to replant anything, call me before you do it. Guys, there's a lot of help we can be on replants, payments to you to replant. Peanuts is roughly $90, corn, which we're past that, about $40, cotton $40 if you've got that endorsement for Alabama or Georgia. So I can't help you if you run out there and replant it and call me at acre certification time. There's no way I can get it paid. So can't get the cart in front of the horse. If you go back to the field to replant anything, call me, text me. We're not gonna hold you up, but let me do my legwork so that we can make this claim process easy. So one rule change with COVID, you have on replants, if you're replanting less than 100 acres per farm number and you've been keeping production separate on those farms, they're going to approve that over the phone. They're not going to actually even come to the farm. So that's new, started last year. They're going to continue that on over in this year. Self-certification replant. The adjuster will tell you to keep up with the acres, keep up with your seed tickets. They'll help you work that claim, do the paperwork on it for you. It's not a big deal. What qualifies for a replant? 20% or 20 acres. Okay, so a 20-20 rule. So if you have a farm number, let's just say that it's got, let's make it easy, your enterprise units, so all of your farms of that crop are lumped together, 20-20 rule. When you exceed a cumulative total of 20 acres on any of those farms, all of those farms, you're automatically approved. You met the 20%, 20 acre rule. If you have a 100-acre farm and you have to replant 2 acres on a 100-acre farm, it's not a payable claim, okay, because it's not 20% of that farm's total. 20-20 rule, 20% or 20 acres, whichever you reach first, gonna qualify you. If you have specific questions on that, call me. Don't assume, don't leave any money on the table with a replant. Let's see if I've got any other things to mention on replants. When you go to the farm office to certify your acres, after everything is said and done, you put the original plant date on that 578. Don't put your replant date. FSA don't know. If you ask them, they don't know what to tell you, or they may tell you the wrong thing. I'm telling you, when your crop insurance coverage is attached on your first initial plant, okay? So put the original plant date, not the replant date. We have that come up every year, and it's a hassle to get back and get all that worked out. They deny the claim, you gotta go back and recertify it FSA, put the original plant date, okay? If you, for some reason, I think we're getting caught up, but let's just say that we get in a situation where we can't get all of our crops planted. Let's say it goes back to raining and we're already behind. So what about preventive planting? 2 weeks ago, I was getting a lot of questions about preventive planting. Those have kind of leveled off now, but I'll touch on it briefly. So a couple things with preventive planting. It has to be general to the area. You can't be the only guy that didn't get planted. They're gonna say, well, you know, why could everybody else do it and you couldn't? Well, let's just be honest. I know what happens. You know what happens. These guys, your neighbors, your friends, when they go to certify at the farm office, they put that they planted by the final plant date, even though they may have planted it late. This is real world. I know that happens, and that's what these guys are doing. So everybody else turns their acres in that they were planted timely, and you're out here being honest, and it kind of bites you because everybody else said they got it done. So that's a key point, though. It has to be general to the area for you to qualify for preventive planting. So once you get to the final planting date of your crop, let's just say peanuts. We'll go back and use this Untitled County peanuts. The final plant date was 5/31. So on 5/31, you say, Eric, I'm still not planted. I don't see how I'm going to get them planted. It's too wet. So after 5/31, you need to let me know that you're at that point prevented from planting. I'll go ahead and open up a claim. If you can get them planted in the next 10 days, they're still insurable. But once we get into that late planting period, I can actually open a preventive planting claim. The adjuster needs to come on out to the farm, document how wet it is, so we can get those claims paid. So what does a preventive planting claim look like? What does it pay? What do I have to do with the ground? We'll just go over that briefly. If you've got specific questions, guys, I need you to call me and let me walk you through it one-on-one. But here's a general mile-high overview of it, okay? So you take your average yield, and I'm going to use peanuts. You take your average yield times your level of coverage. So the example that I worked for somebody the other day, he had a 4,200 pound peanut average, really good peanut farmer. He's on 75% level. So he had 3,150 pounds per acre covered on this farm. The prevent planting percent of coverage is 55% on peanuts. So what you do is you take your pounds per acre, your bushels per acre, whatever your coverage per acre would have been, and peanuts you multiply it times 55%. Corn is 55, cotton is 50, peanuts is 55, grain, sorghum, soybeans is 60. Food for thought. Prevent planting on peanuts, let's get back to that, 55%. So that would have been 3,150 pounds to the acre, 55% of that, 1,733 pounds to the acre, 21 cents a pound. It's $369 worth of prevented planting payment if the guy qualified, right? So if you want the whole preventing planting payment, you have to agree to leave that ground fallow and derive no benefit from it until November 1st. Layout, you keep it disc down, you can spray it with Roundup or something so we don't get a weed problem, but you can't graze it, you can't hay it, you can't do anything else with it if you want the whole payment. And you say, Eric, well, man, I'm ready to go, beans look good, I was prevented on peanuts, but I want to alternate to beans. So you can't plant those beans as a second crop until after the late planting period of peanuts in this example. So 5/31 was the final plant date, 10-day late planting window. You couldn't go in there and plant beans until after that late planting window is over, or they're going to say, well, you could have planted peanuts, we're going to deny the claim. So let's pretend we're 15 days after 5/31. You say that you want to plant soybeans. I say, okay, we're going to file a prevented planting claim on peanuts. We're going to alternate to soybeans. So what we would do is we would take the 3,150 pounds of this guarantee times 55%, 1,733 pounds to the acre. All right, 55% of that gave us $363 worth of coverage per acre on that whole prevent planting claim. But if you plant to an alternative crop, they're going to take, you're only going to get 35% of the 55%. So basically it runs it down to about $127. Now, you would still get the prevented planting claim on peanuts, you would just get a lot less, but the soybeans would be fully insurable. So if you go to a secondary crop, they're only going to charge you 35% of what the peanut coverage per acre would have been, but you're going to get a lot less money per acre, but it makes the second crop fully insurable. So some key points. Prevent planting has to be general to the area. The prevent planting claim has to be open within 72 hours of the end of the late planting period. So in my example, 5/31, 10-day late planting period, you have 72 hours past the last point of that late planting period. Good rule of thumb is if we're past the final plant date or at the end of the final plant date, you need to be calling me and telling me that you've got a prevent planting claim. I can't do it if you let me know a month after. There's no way I can get it paid, so you've got to let me know ahead of time. Prevent planting has some minimums. 20% of a unit. Okay, so that means a farm number if you're on farm by farm coverage. It means all of them collectively if you're on enterprise. 20% of a unit or 20 acres. That's the minimum it takes to qualify for prevented planting. So there's some other acre eligibilities, some cap limits. Has to be insurable dirt, has to have been planted one out of the last 4 years. You have some totals and some caps. I'll go over those with you one by one if you're in that situation. I don't want to bore you to death. Here's the takeaway for today. If you have a replant and you go to the farm for any reason, even if it's just to touch something up, call me or text me before you go. Before you go. That way I can do what I need to do and I'm not trying to make excuses why they can't pay you a claim. That's on you. I can't know to do that. You've got to call me. That's the biggest takeaway. Point two in a takeaway, if you don't know your final plant date for your county for that crop, call me, text me. I'll send you a copy of it. It'll also be on the acreage report we send you here shortly. Remember, whatever date you put on that 578 at the farm office is the date I have to use, okay? So if you have questions, call me, call Amanda. We've just finished up getting everybody's yields done. Acreage reports will go out here shortly. All the adjusters are on standby. They're working these claims as quick as they can. Same guys you're used to. So hopefully we have a lot different year. Hopefully we don't have hurricanes and catastrophic losses like we did last year. 27 years of doing this, hardest year I've ever had was last year. Glad to see it gone. Hope we don't ever have another one like it. So everybody laughs at me. There's no way to end these things without me feeling weird. So I don't remember what I said last year, other than that's all I've got. If you need me, call me. I'm here 24/7. You have my cell phone. I'm here if you need me. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.